Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to That's Football. Are you ready for some Saturday afternoon action? I am, and look, we've already had some fantastic action already. Aston Villa 3 and Aston Villa Newcastle. Aston Villa 3, Aston Villa 0. Aston Villa 3, Newcastle 0. Newcastle banging form this season, last few weeks. Beat Man United, fantastic win away last week, of course. And then today they go and play the other team that's banging form as well. Aston Villa, Newcastle, 3-0. 3-0. Absolutely fantastic. So look, the Premier League games that we're going to be keeping an eye on this afternoon, I can tell you are this. We've got the race for top four, basically. You've got Chelsea against Brighton. Brighton still very much in that top four race. In fact, I will whack the league table up on the screen for you now, and then you'll be able to have a good look at that. Well, I say that you will be able to have a look at it if I can bloody find it. But they're definitely in a top four race. There's no doubt about that. I'm just about to put it up on screen for you. I should have been there really, but we won't get too downbeat about it. Let's take that. So that's the league table as it stands at the moment. Brighton definitely still in a top four race, but Aston Villa, can Aston Villa get in a top four race? 31 games played, so they've played more than everybody else. 2 more than Man United, 1 more than Newcastle. They've got 50 points, 3 points behind Spurs. And then you've got Brighton, who've actually got 3 games in hand on Aston Villa. On 46 points. So big game for Brighton today if they can go to Chelsea and get a result. You've also got Tottenham playing against Bournemouth this afternoon. Must-win game for them, but also a massive game for Bournemouth, who are down at the bottom. Everton are playing Fulham. Another game down the bottom that's very interesting. Fulham sort of flatlined a little bit since the Mitrovic thing, and they're safe, of course, but Everton certainly not. They're in the bottom 4, joint with Nottingham Forest on 27 points. And as I say, Wolves against Brentford, another game where it's a relegation candidate up against Brentford on 43 points, who again having a fantastic season. So Chelsea against Brighton, Everton against Fulham, Southampton against Crystal Palace, Wolves against Brentford, and Tottenham against Bournemouth. I forgot to mention Southampton against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace absolutely flying under Roy Hodgson. I think if Southampton were to lose at home today, you've got to say they're probably down 23 points. They're starting to get cut adrift. But lots going on. Get involved. Of course, we're sponsored on the show by One Football. The link is in the chat for that, I think. I have put it in there. You can scan the QR code in the top right-hand corner, or you can go through the link in the description. Get all your latest breaking football news and transfer news with the One Football app. Also, we have our stats that go up on the screen that are like this. I'll show you there. So it's all team stats, possession, shots on target. On One Football, you can go down more granular and look at individual players as well. So check that out. Links in the chat. To do that, big thank you to them. We'll get the stats carousel running around. Obviously, the featured game is Chelsea against Brighton, but there are other games going on, and we'll update you with that. I'm sure there's going to be a lot to be said in relation to VAR and everything else that might be going on today. So get involved in the chat. Give us your thoughts. It's 3 o'clock on That's Football, and it's a Saturday afternoon, which is always nice to be having a chat. And keep your updates in the chat as well. Give us your thoughts. Brighton against Chelsea predictions. I hope Brighton win. I mean, I like Chelsea, but I hope Brighton win. I think they've been robbed so much over the last few weeks. After last week, I think we've all got to be Brighton, haven't we? But look, it's a good start by Brighton. But look, I haven't given you the team news. The team's going round the screen. I've neglected the chat a little bit as well. We've had a super chat here. Mark, do you think Kane will break Alan Shearer's record? Mojo, yeah, I do. I think I think he will stay. I think he will stay in the Premier League. So yeah, I do think he'll break it. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. Somebody said, can you just shout out Chelsea's team news? It should be going around the screen, but it's Kepa, Chalobah, Fofana, Badiashile, Chilwell, Gallagher, Fernandes, Zakaria, Pulisic, Sterling and Mudryk. I mean, he's resting players for Real Madrid, Frank Lampard. Somebody said he's made a lot of changes because he's pissed off with the first team. But he is resting players like João Felix, Kovacic, Reece James. He's definitely resting players. That is not his strongest 11. I think Thiago Silva, did he come off against Real Madrid injured anyway? I don't remember if he did or he didn't. No, I don't think he did. So he's definitely resting players for that Real Madrid game in midweek. Sanchez in goal for Brighton. Veltman, Dunk, Webster, Esteban, Grohl, Casido, March, McAllister, Matoma and Evan Ferguson up front. Your friend and mine, Evan Ferguson. No goals, although there is a goal. There's a goal. There's a goal. There's a goal. I can tell you that goal is in the Wolves versus Brentford game. Or is it? We suspect something's happened in the Wolves versus Brentford game. I'm waiting to see what it is. I don't know whether the chat can tell me because there's definitely something going on. Or no, there isn't. I don't think there is. I think we had a false alarm. A false alarm at Wolves Brentford. It did look like something was going to happen. And I believe it hasn't happened. Oh, drama. Tottenham against Bournemouth hasn't even kicked off yet, by the way. Apologies there. Apologies. I've bantered the chats. There is nothing going on between Wolves and Brentford. Apologies. We thought there was. There isn't. There isn't. I'm on TalkSport tonight, 7:30 till 9 o'clock. The Mark Goldbridge show. Brilliant show last week, and you're all very, very welcome to get involved. Brighton have started off very lively against Chelsea. I'm sorry to say, Chelsea fans, Lampard has picked a weakened team, and I don't get it. I mean, basically, if you get beat today and then Real Madrid knock you out, what was the benefit of getting beat today? Hi, Mark. Just want to say thanks for everything you do. I'm an Arsenal fan, but love the work you do on both channels. Much love from Limerick, says Dean. Thank you very much, Dean. I really appreciate that. Simon says, do you think Aston Villa can get top four? We'll talk about that in a minute, mates. But remember, Frank Lampard's, this is his third game in charge of Chelsea. He's not scored a goal yet, and he's lost both. Tottenham against Bournemouth has been delayed. It's been delayed. Blackpool are beating Wigan. I can tell you that. I will do anything for early yellow card for Veltman here. But I won't do that. I do like the chaos of the 3 o'clock kickoffs. There's so much going on. Mudryk had a good run and Veltman got booked. What's your score prediction, Alex? I'm going to go Brighton to win 2-0. But look, Mudryk's a player I believe in Mudryk. I think he can be a good player. I really do. Thanks everyone who tuned into the poker stream last night. It's the first one we've ever done. We're definitely going to do more. It was a little bit chaotic, and the chaotic start sort of did me in the end, but I really did enjoy it. 2-1 to Brighton, says Fennick. Thank you very much. Veltman tackled in with his back, says Justin. Why is the Spurs game not kicked off? I don't know. Lee loved the poker. We'll definitely do it again. Who do you prefer to win, says Rugby? I think the best result for United's probably a draw. But, yeah. We will see. We will see. But I won't do that. Still 0-0 in all the games. Tottenham against Bournemouth is delayed. I don't know why. If anyone can tell me, I don't know. Traffic. Well, we normally get somebody who does a super chat and lives near Spurs and moans about the parking. So I can imagine he's absolutely furious. He might have started it. He might have caused the delay. The bus got stuck in traffic, apparently. Mark, feeling more positive after Newcastle loss, says Ray. Well, let's have a chat about that. Let's have that as our first afternoon debate. And Sam's just messaged me to say that Bournemouth arrived late, so that's why it's been delayed a little bit. Let's just say this. The scenario that we have around Aston Villa and the league table at the moment is there on the screen for you, but I can't read it that well, so I'm going to go and have a look at another one. So Aston Villa have got 50 points. Their run recently is incredible. Absolutely incredible. I don't know how good it is. I think since they lost to Man City, I think they've won 6 of their last 7. So they've probably now won 7 of their last 8 or something like that. It's an incredible run. I think they've won the last 5 in a row. Aston Villa were defined as the only team in the Premier League that was really a mid-table team. It's been an amazing Premier League season, but there was a time where Aston Villa were the only mid-table team. They weren't in a relegation battle and they weren't in the race for Europe. Well, they're now 6th. Incredible run. Emery has completely and utterly proven that what a top coach he is. To take a team like Aston Villa in this league from mid-table to 6th place outright is absolutely fantastic. I think it might be too little too late from Aston Villa, in the sense that I don't think they will get top 4. But having said that, they have got some interesting games to play. The problem Villa have got is the games they've played. They've played more games than anyone. They're on 31. They've played 1 more than Spurs. They played 2 more than Man United, 1 more than Newcastle, 3 more than Brighton. So that's the problem Villa have got. Having said that, in a competitive league, if you can keep winning, that will even itself out quite quickly. So next weekend, Villa have got Brentford away. If they win that, they've got Fulham at home. If they win that, they go to Old Trafford, and the way we are at the moment, we're vulnerable. Then they've got Wolves away, Spurs at home, which you'd fancy them against, Liverpool, Anfield, and then Brighton. So they've got to play Liverpool, Brighton, Spurs, Manchester United. They've just beaten Newcastle. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that Aston Villa... Basically, Aston Villa have got 1, 2, 3. They've got 7 games left, and they've got 53 points. If Aston Villa can get, 7 games left is 21 points. I think if they can win 6 of their next 7, they'll get top 4. If they get 70 points, they'll get top 4. That's what I would say about Villa. I don't think Villa fans even expect top 4. I think they just want European football. I think they've got a great chance of getting Europa League football. But, hold on, Brighton! Oh, he's hit the Denver bar! Evan Ferguson's hit the bar! I can't believe it! Brilliant play. What a shot. Ferguson hits the bar. Oh. What a shot. Magnificent shot, and it's just hit the bar. But yeah, look, I think Aston Villa will get Europa League football if they can win 6 of their 7. I'm going to stick my neck out like a giraffe, and I'm going to say that anybody who gets 70 points will get top 4 this season. So if you want to look at the league table on the screen there, anybody who hits 70 points from this point, figure out with how many games they've got left, 70 points, you'll get top 4. I'm pretty much convinced about that. So that's got to be the target for Man United, Newcastle, and everybody else. No goals in the Premier League so far, but Brighton have started off fantastically well here against Chelsea. Chelsea, I don't know what Lampard's doing really, but look at that. You're at home, 78% possession for Brighton, and you're the home team. Like, what is Lampard doing with his team? What is he? I know he's thinking about Madrid, but I don't know why Chelsea gave him the job. I know Chelsea wanted to get rid of Potter, but at the end of the day, giving Frank Lampard the Chelsea job, I don't know. It's like sacking Lewis Hamilton and giving Stevie Wonder the job to drive the Mercedes Formula One. It's just not going to work, is it? It's just not going to work. Still no goals in any other game at the moment. But yeah, Aston Villa, great topic, great conversation. Thank you very much for that. Emery should be Manager of the Year, says the HBN. Well, Manager of the Year is a great conversation. I think there are many candidates. Personally, as a Man United fan, I think that Ten Hag's done a great job. We were terrible last year. We've won a trophy. We're in the top 4 race. Eddie Howe has done a great job at Newcastle. When he took the job, they were relegation candidates. They're now, one of the top 4 favourites. I think that Thomas Frank's done a good job at Brighton. De Zerbi's done a great job at Brentford. De Zerbi's done a great job at Brighton. Emery has done fantastic at Aston Villa. If Aston Villa got top 4, here's a riddle for you. If Aston Villa got top 4 from the position they were in to top 4, really, probably should be player of the year, manager of the year. And obviously, the one above everybody for me is if Arsenal win the league, it's got to be Arteta. I'm not always a big fan of the league winner winning manager of the year, because the league winner is normally the person with the biggest budget and the best squad. But that ain't Arsenal. So if Arsenal win the league, it's got to be Arteta. Pep's not getting it. Here's a controversial hot take for you. I wouldn't even have Pep Guardiola in my top 5 if he won the league. If Man City win the league with Pep Guardiola, he wouldn't be in my top 5 manager of the year. Because I would have Arteta, De Zerbi, Howe, Ten Hag, Emery, for the jobs they've done in the clubs they've inherited. Pep's, I tipped Man City to win the league anyway, and then they bought Erling Haaland. Like, Pep's a great coach, but I don't think the job is hard when you've got that squad and you've won it 2 times already. I think what Arsenal have done under Arteta, what Brighton have done with De Zerbi, what Emery's done at Arsenal, what Ten Hag's done at Manchester United, and what Eddie Howe's done at Newcastle, they've all inherited really difficult situations and over-exceeded in a very short period of time. Pep's a fantastic manager, but, you know, is it hard, or is it, you know, Slow Sports News, Manchester City win the title after buying Erling Haaland and having won the title for the last 2 years and having the best squad. It's a goal for Chelsea. We've got a goal for Chelsea here. It's Frank Lampard's first goal for Chelsea. Shock, horror, baby, shock, horror. It's Raheem Sterling who has scored, and it's Conor Gallagher with a shot. It's not Raheem Sterling who scored. It was a shot from Conor Gallagher, and it deflects into the goal, completely against the runner play. Chelsea here. Frank Lampard's got his first goal, and it's an own goal. Artist says, I can't believe it. Chelsea have actually got a goal, and they have. Crystal Palace are 1-0 up as well, says Liam Rogers. I can't confirm that at the moment. I can't confirm a Crystal Palace goal at the moment. That is just pure speculation. But I can confirm a Chelsea goal. It's Conor Gallagher, and it's 1-0. It's lucky. You know, Brighton have been down the other end and hit the bar. Conor Gallagher hits a shot, deflects up and over the goalkeeper. Sometimes you need a little bit of luck. I don't know whether that's a good thing for Chelsea or not. Does that make them defend a little bit more? But 1-0 Chelsea. Conor Gallagher. Lampard's got his first goal. I've just realised I haven't tweeted this out. Let's do it. Well, bit of fortune. Brighton haven't had a lot of it. I'm still not getting a goal for Palace. No, I'm not having it. It's 0-0 between Palace and Southampton. We're not having that. Still not kicked off between Spurs and Brighton. Spurs and Bournemouth. It's not an own goal because the shot was going on target. I mean, the keeper would have saved the shot. Do you think Brighton will try to become a big club, says Matt? I think everybody would like to become a big club. What's your thoughts on that? Conor Gallagher's shot is on target, but my gran would have saved it, and she's been dead years. It deflects and goes in, so Conor Gallagher gets given the goal, even though his shot wasn't going to go in. What are your thoughts on that? I don't really have any thoughts on it. I definitely had thoughts on the linesman yesterday. Oh, can I do a poll on this? Because I couldn't do it. Do you think Arsenal will win tomorrow, says Connor? Rest in peace, Gran, says Screamy Boy. She can't hear you. Should the linesman have got a ban? Just yes or no. You might have seen my video yesterday. I'm not going to tell you what I said in the video. But the linesman who threw his arm out and caught Andy Robertson in the face has been found not guilty and has not been given a ban by the FA or the Referees Association. This is the same Referees Association that deprived Brighton of a penalty last week, that gave Casemiro a 4-match ban, Should the linesman have got a ban? Matt Fletcher, thanks very much for your super chat. Yes or no? Let us know. I did a video on it yesterday, of course, but a lot of people agreed with him not getting a ban. I'm intrigued by what your thoughts are. I thought it was shocking. I mean, hopefully we're not going to get any bad VAR stuff today. I'm sure there'll be plenty of... there'll be Howard Webb, I think, is quite high up in the Referees Association, and I think there'll be plenty of... Spurs have just kicked off, says Fennick. Thank you very much. There'll be plenty of people in the Referees Association just saying, bloody make sure you get everything right this weekend. They cannot afford for anything to go wrong. But Chelsea beating Brighton here. You know what? Brighton, they're already in an incredible situation in the Premier League. But can I just tell you something else amazing about Brighton? When you look at all the bad decisions they've had against them this season and how many times they've missed big chances, they really should have another 6 or 7 points. Definitely. Not speculation. They definitely should have another 6 or 7 points. You add that onto Brighton there, they would have what? 52, 53 points? And they'd have games in hand on everyone above them. It's ridiculous. They've been robbed loads of times, Tabasco. But that's the incredible thing about Brighton. I mean, even here, they've been a bit unlucky. Own goal, and they've hit the post. But I mean, those things you can sort of deal with. But you know, some of the absolutely nailed-on robberies that Brighton have had. Aston Villa, I agree. Arsenal, I agree. Gulla, Arsenal definitely were robbed of 2 points. Have a stretch, mate, says Oliver. Thank you very much. I will. How much do I owe you? Oh. Well, do you think Brighton will fall off next season? Well, it was Pep Guardiola was saying this, wasn't he? Pep Guardiola was saying that Brighton play some of the best... He loves the way that Brighton play football. They're a fantastic side. Fantastic side. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. We don't always do the 3 o'clock. So I was going to do Villa Newcastle, but I was actually out watching some grassroots football myself this morning. So I couldn't get back in time. So I thought I'd do the 3 o'clock. So share the video if you're enjoying it as well. And make sure you subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. 72% of you said the linesman should have got a ban for what he did to Robertson. I agree. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. I wholeheartedly agree with thee. With Chelsea scoring first here, I don't think it makes a massive amount of difference. I still think Brighton will get something out of it, but Lampard certainly got a massive opportunity to build on this and get his first win of the season. We're on the road to 938,000, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Let's see if we can hit it. Get involved. Remember, if we hit 1 million subscribers, we're doing a live show in London. A live That's Football show in London. I've done a few for United, but we're going to do a live show in London. So make sure you subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. How are we doing for goals? Only goal in the Premier League so far is this one. Still 0-0 between Wolves and Brentford. Still 0-0 between Southampton and Palace. Still 0-0 between Everton and Fulham. And of course, Spurs against Bournemouth has only kicked off 4 minutes ago. Massive game for Everton. They've got to win their home games. If they want to stay up, they've got to win those home games. There's another refereeing decision here that Brighton aren't happy about. I don't know if anybody can give us any clarity on that. Pulisic with his hand knocks it out. Do you think that was a bit harsh? Well, what I would say about that handball is, and I think a lot of people are quite right in saying it would have been a bit harsh on Chelsea, but hear me out on this, right? You are the referees association for referees, right? You know categorically that you robbed Brighton last week of a penalty. Chelsea, Pulisic handles the ball in the box. Here is a prime example to put things right and go, look, might be a little bit soft, but it's a penalty. Sorry for last week. What do? No, not a handball. They've got no shame, have they? Like, if anybody deserves a bit of a dodgy decision to go their way, well, not even a dodgy decision, a bit of a soft decision, and they still don't do it. So tell me, please, that there isn't an agenda against out of the top 6 clubs, because there's a prime example of the referees association basically they should have had a word and said, look, if there's anything that goes soft for Brighton, give it them because of last week. You know, we've got to be fair. They were robbed last week. They've been robbed loads of times. If there's anything for Brighton that looks a little bit 50-50, review it. Let's have a look at it. Not even reviewed it. Not even reviewed the fact that Pulisic knocks the ball with his hand. It's disgusting. And I'm not saying... If that happened against United, I don't think it's a handball, by the way. But if it's given, you'd go, well, it does touch his hand. But they're not even looking at it because it's Brighton again. Do you reckon United fans should be worried about the remainder of the season with players out and dodgy results as football? Well, I think we all are. But no, I think it is a handball, Luke. He says you can't hurt Chelsea just to reward Brighton, but I thought it was a handball. Like, I think Pulisic is chasing for the ball and he hits it with his hand. I think it is a handball. That's what I'm saying. It's ridiculous that they've not even looked at it. Having done that to Brighton last week, they've gone and done it again. I actually think it was a handball. Fulham are 1-0 up here. This is huge. It's huge for Fulham because they're playing at Goodison Park. They're not got Mitrovic, but they've got Harrison Reed. And they're 1-0 up. He's fired the rebound into the bottom right corner. And they lead 1-0 at Goodison Park. And these are the games that that Everton are going to need to win at home. No, I don't want to go on about it because it's gone. And I've tweeted it anyway. So I'm not doing it for effect. I genuinely believe it. Brighton were robbed last week of a disgraceful decision. But that is a handball. Like, Pulisic has literally moved the ball with his hand outstretched. That is a handball. Whether it's accidental or not, people are going, it's soft, this, that and the other. Did it hit his hand? Yes. Was his hand outstretched? Yes. For me, that's a handball. Now, it might be soft, but what my point is, how can you not look at that when you've already done this to Brighton in a worse way last week? Why would you not look at it and go, yeah, we can't just keep depriving them of dodgy decisions. So that's my point. I'm not saying give them a penalty that's not a penalty. It was a handball. So, you know, that's another one for Brighton in the compilation, isn't it? Brighton still playing very, very well in this game, by the way, but they are losing 1-0 at the moment. Chelsea very much changed. Lampard has clearly decided to rest a lot of his players ahead of the game against Real Madrid on... are they playing Wednesday night? Tuesday night. They're playing Tuesday night. Apologies for my ignorance, by the way. I should have done a penalty. I should have done a handball. I tell you what, I don't know how Brighton aren't level here. Matoma's just gone on a great run, and it's a good save by Kepa, but they're all over them. Should Brighton have had a penalty for handball? Yes or no? What a player he is, by the way, Matoma. I tell you who I think would love Pep. I've just told you. I think Pep Guardiola would love Matoma. We will be doing a watch along for Chelsea against Madrid on Tuesday night. Looking forward to that. I've got another goal for you. Can you guess where it is yet? It's at Wolves and it's 1-0. As I said, these relegation candidates have got to win their home games. Well, Wolves are 1-0 up here and it's against Brentford, who are a good side, and it's 1-0 to Brentford. Wolves, sorry. 1-0 to Wolves. They lead 1-0 against Brentford. I can't get my names out. There's too many Br's tonight. Tottenham and Bournemouth are playing 11 minutes. So we've got a goal there. Wolves against Brentford. Apologies. And it's Costa who scored. Grab yourself a coffee. It's Costa. 1-0. It's always the way. This is the way. Mandalorian facts. When you're in a relegation battle, what you got to do? Win your home games. It's as simple as that. And of course, at the moment, Brentford have had to make a substitution here as well. I don't know who it was. I think Veltman's gone off, but he was on a yellow card anyway, Veltman. So traffic was the delay in the Spurs game. Of course, Man United are playing Brighton next weekend in the FA Cup. That's going to be a tough game. Tough game. But yeah, in these relegation battles, you've got to learn how to Matoma's just missed another chance. In these relegation battles, you've got to win your home games. If you win your home games, it's like 70 points will get you top 4 this year. Win your home games, you'll stay up in the relegation battle. Brighton will turn this around, says Nadir. Well, I don't know. I've seen Brighton do this a lot this season. They're definitely the better side. And then they get a bit of bad luck and yeah. What's for tea tonight, Mark? I've got a lovely pie to put in the oven. Yeah, looking forward to that. Alex says, I do not understand how Emery was so bad at Arsenal but takes on a worse team at Villa and he's doing amazing. I don't know. I don't really remember the Emery Arsenal thing. It just didn't feel like a good fit, did it? Maybe he's better at a club with lower expectations. Maybe at Arsenal it was just a bad fit. Maybe Emery's not a good coach at Barcelona, but he's a good coach at Villarreal. Maybe he's not a good coach at Arsenal, but he's a good coach at Aston Villa. Spurs are winning. We didn't want that. But they are winning. Brighton, another shot for Brighton. Spurs are winning. It's 1-0. Who scored the goal? Well, he's not my son. That's Seb. It's Son Heung-min. It's Son, basically. Sonaldo. He scored for Spurs 1-0 against Bournemouth. Yeah. Could do with Spurs dropping some points today. Having said that, Matoma versus James would have been good, says Go. Having said that, looking at Spurs, I think after today they don't win for a while. Because if you look at Spurs fixtures, after today, they've sort of got to beat Bournemouth, because after today, their next 3 games are... Although, having said that, I'm not that confident about us at the moment. But Spurs' next 3 games are as follows. They've got Newcastle away next weekend. Then they've got Manchester United at home. And then they've got Anfield, Liverpool. So they have got 3 games. They've got Villa coming up after that as well. So Spurs sort of need to win today, because I don't think they're going to win for a while after that. So we've got a goal in every game at the moment. Chelsea lead 1-0 against Brighton. Everton are losing at home to Fulham. Crystal Palace and Southampton is 0-0. Tottenham lead 1-0 against Bournemouth after 16 minutes. A bit of a delay there. And Wolves are beating Brentford 1-0 as well. That's how it all stands at the moment. No, I mean, look, Spurs might defy logic. 68% possession for Brighton at Stamford Bridge, by the way. I'd be bloody embarrassed if I was Lampard. With the players he's got to be playing that quality of football. Oh, I tell you what, I thought Matoma went down. There was no appeal for it, though. Andrew says penalty, but didn't seem to be much of an appeal from Matoma, so obviously I think the ball was won. Do you play Football Manager, Mark? I did one season this year, and I took Solihull Moors ahead of Notts County and Wrexham to straight up promotion. 73% of you said that Brighton should have had a penalty for handball. There you go. Brighton have been fantastic. They just can't score. I can't believe it. Kepa's just made a fantastic save. It's just incredible. You would not believe this game is 1-0 to Chelsea. It's the definition of smash and grab so far. Emery bad at Arsenal. He missed the Champions League by 1 point and took us to European final with Kolasinac, Mustafi, Koscielny as starters as Tanish. I see. As I said, I can't really remember how it happened, but there you go. I am on TalkSport tonight, Mark. It will be live on the YouTube channel at 7:30 till 9 o'clock and also live on national radio. So get your calls in. Hello from Japan, says Aman. Hello. Samuel says, should that have been a penalty on Evan Ferguson? I mean, you're never going to get these given, to be fair. He got kicked after he'd headed it. It's a FIFA penalty. But it's never going to get given. I wouldn't. In fairness to Chelsea, I don't think that should have been a penalty. I think the Pulisic one should have been a penalty, but I don't think that one's a penalty. I mean, bad news for Brighton if Ferguson's injured, because obviously you've got an FA Cup semi-final coming up soon as well. But he has hurt him. Everton 1-1. They needed that. Everton desperately needed equaliser. They've got one at Goodison Park. It's 1-1 and Everton against Fulham. Danny Welbeck is warming up for Chelsea, but it's 1-1 Everton against Fulham. Huge game at Goodison Park. Remember, Everton are down there at the bottom in that relegation fight. They've got to win their home games. I've not looked at Everton's run-in yet, but they've got to win their home games. I don't know how he makes you feel, but it's Dwight McNeil. 1-1. There we go. 1-1. Everton against Brentford. Fulham, sorry. Now, is Evan Ferguson going to play on here? It'd be terrible if he's out. Can he run it off? Just looking at Everton's final few fixtures, can they stay up? Well, this is why it's so important to win at home. They've got Fulham today, then they've got to go to Palace, then they've got Newcastle at home, Leicester away, Brighton away, Man City at home, Wolves away, and Bournemouth at home. There's not a lot of 3 points there for Everton, is there? I mean, Man City will beat them, I reckon, at Goodison. Wolves away will be tough. Bournemouth at home could be massive. Brighton away, you wouldn't fancy them there. Leicester away will be really, really tough. Palace away will be tough. And Newcastle at home will be tough. So it's not, look, Brighton, Sorry, Everton. I reckon that they James Garner got an assist as Sahil. I think they I think Everton sacked Lampard too late. Because I think there was a couple of games at home for Everton where I think if they'd got Dyche in, Southampton at home was one of them. Everton lost twice to Bournemouth under Lampard, says Harry. They can't have done because they've got Bournemouth. They've already got Bournemouth to play, unless you're talking about last season. What are we doing for time? 7 minutes to half time. We've got another goal coming in, I think. No, we haven't. Marco Silva, Manager of the Year, says Seamish. He's done a good job. I think there's some better ones. I am on the football feeling on Monday. Yes, Justin. Oh. Zana says, what are your thoughts on Chelsea versus Madrid at Stamford Bridge? I mean, anything can happen. 2-0. Anything can happen if you score the first goal. But Chelsea struggled to score goals. I mean, their goal today never should have been a goal. If it hadn't have deflected, it wouldn't have gone in. So it's that whole thing for Chelsea. Are they capable at the Bridge of knocking out Real Madrid? Potentially, but I'd only give them probably a 15% chance of doing it. I tell you what, I think this referee in the Chelsea game is absolutely diabolical. Absolutely shite. Nicholas, you keep asking me the same thing. I'm not going to read it out because I just don't think it's funny. So that's a warning. I have read it. You keep asking me the same thing. I didn't think it was good, fair to share. Welbeck's on and Evan Ferguson's off. That could be big for Manchester United because if Ferguson is having to come off here after 38 minutes, will he be okay for the FA Cup semi-final next week? So no, I don't think Chelsea will beat Real Madrid, is the honest answer. It can happen, but unlikely. Love the content, says David. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. Bottom right hand corner, we're on the road to 938,000. Chelsea, bit of a smash and grab here so far. But anything will do for Chelsea at the moment. It's West Ham versus Arsenal tomorrow. Well, I think Arsenal will win that. It could potentially be a difficult game away from home against West Ham, but West Ham picked a strong team on Thursday night, didn't they? So I think they'll win that. Nub says, do you have a team you like to watch? I do actually. I do like watching Brighton. I think they're a very easy on the eye team. Just having a look at West Ham. They drew against Ghent on Thursday. And from an Arsenal point of view, Declan Rice played. Yeah, they picked quite a strong team, didn't they? So I think Arsenal will smash them, to be honest. And I do also think that Arsenal's result at the Anfield was good. They didn't need to drop points, but I still think it was a good result. We've got a goal for Brighton. It's been coming. They bloody well deserve it. It's about bloody time. Welbeck is the scorer. He's only just come on. And Brighton have equalised, and it's thoroughly deserved. Goal Brighton, terrible defending. He gets up on the cross, And about time, 1-1, Brighton, Welbeck, and he's Welbeck. He's Welbeck. Brighton have dominated. Thoroughly deserved. Whether you're listening, watching, or just keeping an eye on the chat, it's probably one of the biggest injustices of the weekend so far that Chelsea were winning 1-0 anyway. And right on half-time, Brighton have made it 1-1, and it's Welbeck. They've been fundamentally the best team by a very, 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 very long way. And it's a cracking header by Welbeck. There's nothing that Kepa can do. And the reason I say it's so well deserved is because just look at this. Have you ever seen domination like it? Chelsea at half time have 32% possession. The shots for Brighton are 10, 5 on target to 1, 3 corners to 1. I tell you what, Chelsea fans, I mean, I'm not doing my Talk Sport show yet, but have we got any Chelsea fans in the chat? Because what's your excuse now? You know, you sacked Potter, you sacked Tuchel to go to a fan favourite as a player who's got all this talent and you can't keep possession. Don't tell me that, we haven't got a striker, You can't pass. You can't keep the bloody ball now. You know, under Potter, you created chances, you couldn't put them in the back of the net. Now you can't even get on the ball. You are regressing. You are regressing. That's what's happening here. This is getting worse and worse and worse for you. I don't understand why you appointed Lampard, because the football's getting worse. It's regressing like Pep's hairline. The football is worse. You are at home with 30% possession, getting dominated by Brighton, who are a good side, but you have got, if you look, you can say it's your reserves, but if this is Chelsea's reserves, let's just add up the value of Chelsea's reserves. Oh, it's our reserves. We're focusing on the Real Madrid game. All right, it's your reserves. Well, your keeper cost 70 million for a start. Chalobah's from the youth. Fofana cost 80. Badiashile, 20, I don't know, probably more than that. So Chilwell, another 50. Zakaria, free. Fernandez, 100. Pulisic, probably another 50. Gallagher's from the youth. Mudryk, mate, you've got hundreds, probably 600-700 million pounds of talent on the pitch, and you can only have 30% possession at home. Don't talk to me about anything. You're getting dominated because you've got a coach who doesn't know what he's doing. Casido is just brilliant. I want him at Man United, says Detta. Right now, only one team in London. Come on, you Gunners, says Nub. And that's what Chelsea get for playing like crap after taking a lead, says the HBN. Well, they were playing crap before, mate. They were playing crap before. Like, I don't get the excuse here for Chelsea. I understand that they can't score goals. I get that. I do. They haven't got a striker. But I don't understand how they're getting dominated like that when they've got so many players. It's not good enough. You know, Super Frank Lampard, oh, well, the feeling's good. Unless he's got a number 8 shirt and he's running around your midfield, I don't get the point in being excited for bringing him back. You know, Everton are trying to rescue their season from the damage he caused. And now Chelsea, oh, Potter. All I had every week from Chelsea fans on TalkSport was, Potter out, get him out. He doesn't know what he's on about. Get him out. He doesn't know what he's on about. Lampard, oh yes, he's one of us. Get Frank in. And he's serving up this shite. Like, there's one thing dominating a game and you can't put the ball in the back of the net. You've gone from that to being dominated and relying on deflections. Shocking. Absolutely dreadful. And Brighton are carving you up like a hot butter through knife. I mean, a hot knife through butter. I think they should give Lampard the job. No smart Chelsea fan wanted Lampard back. The reason for their downfall is the 4-3-3, is the 4-4-3, 4-4-2. It says quick save. Well, apparently, James Corden told Bowley to appoint Lampard. I mean, I've been saying this for a while. When you sacked Potter, I said, you need to start looking above. And I don't mean religion. I mean, you need to start looking at your owner, because your club has money, but it's been spent ridiculously with people who don't know what they're on about. Dangerous times for Chelsea. They'll probably go and beat Real Madrid on Tuesday, but I mean, at the moment, they'll do well to get anything out of this game. And look, even if you did find a way to win this game, you're not going to do it on merit, are you? It's going to be another deflection or something stupid like that. Because the performance has been dreadful. Absolutely shocking. Welbeck scored for Brighton. We've got 4 minutes added on here. It's half-time in every other game, apart from Tottenham, who kicked off 15 minutes later. So we will obviously keep an eye on Tottenham at half-time, because they'll be playing through the half-time for everybody else. Conor Gallagher is a wish David Beckham, says Kend. And you're a legend, Mark, says Sonny. I think Conor Gallagher found his level at Crystal Palace. And I don't think that level was necessarily a bad thing. If I'm being completely truthful. But I don't know that he's a Chelsea player. You can say what you like. As Texas once said, you can say what you want, but you won't change my mind. I feel the same about Gallagher. Rubbish. Look, Chelsea could still win this game, but it's a dreadful performance, and I'll just never understand why they brought Lampard back. Tuchel to Potter to Lampard is the biggest downgrade I've ever seen in one season. Complete incompetence from the board, says Michael. I know Lampard is a club legend, but I don't know what warranted him a second chance after his first stint as manager, says Stephen. Thank you very much. And do you think Chelsea and Liverpool's poor form continue into next season, or has this been a blip this season for them both, says DCP? I think Chelsea have the potential to come back because they've got the funds to do it. Liverpool, as we saw with Klopp, probably don't. So it'd be I wouldn't bet they'll be both back. I think Chelsea need Maguire to really build up from the back. I'll tell you what, Devon, I think Maguire would be brilliant for them. Michael Craney says Tuchel to Potter to Lampard is the biggest downgrade I've ever seen in one season. Well, I don't know whether you're into your UK culture, but or film culture or whatever, but I would say Tuchel to Potter to Lampard in a downgrade is like being married to Margot Robbie, divorcing her to marry Sharon from EastEnders, and then divorcing her to marry Theresa May. It's that sort of sharp decline for Chelsea. You know, you had it all, you went down market, and then you just did something really stupid. And I'm not even talking about looks. I'm talking about personality as well. Margot looks like she's a bit of a laugh. Sharon's always moaning, and Theresa May, wow, she just looks like a bit of a bookworm to me, a bit of a librarian. There you go. Lee says, James Corden's a West Ham fan. Why would they listen to him? Yeah, it must be a total joke. Worst manager of the year poll, says Mario. Well, I think it's got to be Lampard. It's got to be Lampard, hasn't it? I'm Roddy Pickering. I mean, it's either Lampard or that Southampton coach. He was pretty rubbish. But if you don't know who Theresa May is, Google it. Or Sharon from EastEnders. Basically, just get a picture of Margot Robbie, Sharon from EastEnders, and Theresa May, and then you'll see what I've just done. But it's not about looks. It's about personality, perception. Worst manager of the year, I would say Nathan Jones at Southampton. But really, the way Chelsea are doing under Lampard, I mean, there's meant to be the whole thing is you can employ a crap manager as an interim, but most of them do get a new manager bounce. So if you look at what's his name? Oh, what was his name? Tim Sherwood. So Tim Sherwood was the new manager bounce, wasn't he? At Spurs at one point, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the new manager bounce at Manchester United. So you're meant to get a new manager bounce, aren't you? That's what I'm saying. Every manager should give you a new manager bounce. Lampard's so bad, this would be his third. Well, they're not losing here, to be fair, but if they did lose, this would be his third loss in a row. So he's got all the new manager bounce of a brick. You know, you're meant to get a new manager bounce, and there just isn't one at the moment for him. Yeah, Di Matteo bloody won him a Champions League. You normally get a new manager bounce, whoever you bring in. And I think that's what I mean. Chelsea fans, talk to me, or anybody else talk to me, because I couldn't see a new manager bounce with Lampard because I don't think he's very good. But I look at that Chelsea squad and I go, it's nearly impossible not to have a new manager bounce. But this just shows you, I think this is how badly Chelsea are run. They wanted to stick with Potter. They publicly said they were going to stick with Potter. 2 weeks later, they sacked him, which shows they're weak. You know, they changed their mind. Then they bring Lampard in because they just think club legend, new manager bounce. They'd have been better off giving it to John Terry. Because I think, you know, John Terry is probably a better coach than Frank Lampard. But the fact that he hasn't even given them a new manager bounce says everything. But I'm not having a pop at Lampard, really, because I don't blame him for taking the job. I'm having a pop at the owners of Chelsea. It's a terrible season for them. Absolutely terrible. And the decision-making they've made and the money they've spent, I think you'd struggle to... I mean, this is a debut... Forget the managers for a minute. This is a debut season for a new owner. I don't think you could screw it up anymore. And I don't think it's been done on purpose. I think they genuinely think it's an example in how hard it is to manage a Premier League football club, or how easy it is to get it wrong, because they've spent loads and loads and loads and loads of money, but they've had 3 managers and it's getting worse. As I say, this is the stats at half time. Chelsea are the home team. Look at the red. Look at the squad. Even though that's a reserve Chelsea team today, it's still worth about 700 million. And it's getting kicked all over Stamford Bridge. It's getting worse. Chelsea's situation is getting worse. What are your thoughts on Levi Colwill? Didn't you know he was on loan from Chelsea? Top class, young, left-footed centre-back, says Simon. Apparently there's a few clubs that want him. Goal at Bournemouth. Goal at Bournemouth, and it's a big goal. It's a very big goal for Bournemouth because it's 1-1 against Tottenham. And it's not a dream. He's not a dreamer. It's Matthias Wiener. It's 1-1 for Bournemouth. Beats the keeper. And 1-1. Big goal. Big goal for Manchester United fans as well, because we don't want Spurs to win. Of course, Newcastle have already lost to Villa today. We could do with Spurs dropping some points as well. Do you think Lampard is capable of getting the sack before the end of the season, says Omka? I mean, if he loses today, that's 3 losses in a row. If Real Madrid beat him, that's 4 losses in a row. So I don't think you can get sacked, but I don't know where the... If that's the feel-good factor, I'd hate to see what the not good feel factor is. What do you expect from an owner who says his team is going to the Bernabeu and winning 3-0, says Connor? You know what it is? Where do you think Pulisic should go, says Devon? Well, he's got to go and re-spark his career somewhere. You know what the problem with Chelsea is? I don't have a massive problem with Todd Boehly. When he first came in, I actually defended him and said that there was a bit of xenophobic comments about him, which I just didn't agree with. But you know what? I don't like this sort of Jamie Carragher, Graham Souness assessment of someone where they're just blindly guessing, because it's just a guess. Like if Martinez had been a flop, Carragher and Souness would have said, I played the game. I told you that Martinez not good enough. I'm telling you now, he's too small. But the reality is it would have been a guess, because they never watched Martinez, because they said he was rubbish in the air, and he's not rubbish in the air. I don't like people who guess. So when people were slagging off Todd Boehly last summer, I was like, look, just because we've had a few bad American owners in this country, in this league, doesn't mean you can say that Todd Boehly's a bad owner. And also, he wants to spend money. But he's a different type of bad owner at the moment. I think his intent and heart is in the right place. He wants Chelsea to be the best. Unfortunately, what you've got is, if you have a Formula One team, you build the car and then you get Lewis Hamilton or Max Verstappen to drive it. Todd Boehly wants to drive the car. That's what the problem with Chelsea is. He's spent the money. He's built the car that can win the title, but he wants to drive the car. And that's what a good owner is. You look at what Man City have done. You look at what Newcastle are doing. You've got to build the car and get the driver and let them race and put the team around them. I think Chelsea at the moment lack football people in positions of power. Whether that's the CEO, the director of football, they're a mess. And it just feels like players have been bought because Todd Boehly wants them. And that's the problem Chelsea have got. It's not like what United have got, where they're trying to bleed the club dry. It's not what Liverpool have got at the moment, where they haven't got any money. They've got the money. They should be successful, but they haven't brought football people in because Todd Boehly, it appears, is making too many football decisions. And it ain't easy, bruv. I wouldn't find it easy. You wouldn't find it easy. And we probably watch a lot more and know a lot more about football than he does. So, yeah, he could be a good owner for them, but he's got to wind his neck in. That's what he's got to do. And this season has been an absolute disaster in how not to run a football club. A new manager bounce was impossible considering they signed 50 players and haven't been able to turn into a team yet, especially considering all of the pressure with the price tags. I played the game, says Simon. Simon, I think the Chelsea job's hard, but I don't think it should be this bad. Statistically wise, you've still got good players there. You should be able to pass the ball and move. You know, I know it's difficult, but these players can get the ball and pass the ball. They cannot get onto the ball. They can't get on the ball, and that's just, you know, there is no new manager bounce, is there? There is no positivity around Chelsea at the moment. I don't know why. I was just looking at Chelsea's next few games, by the way. Somebody said, when will Chelsea win a game? Well, if they don't win today, they've got Real Madrid on Tuesday. Then they've got Brentford at home next week. Maybe there's a win there. Then they've got Arsenal away. Wouldn't fancy that. Bournemouth away. Maybe. Forest at home. Should win that. Man City away. Forget about it. Newcastle at home could be difficult. And I think they've got a rearranged game against Manchester United at some point as well. So, yeah, it's a difficult one to sort of predict at this moment. Here's a bit of a topical question for you. You might be aware of this. We get an extra bank holiday in the UK in May because King Charles is going to have his coronation on Saturday the 6th of May. Have they cancelled all the Premier League games on that fixture? I don't know. That's why I'm asking the question. I don't know the answer. I don't know, Valerie. I don't know. I'm asking the question. Do they have games on that day? I don't know. Because there'll be a lot of police required to police it. If you could bring one player to United from Chelsea or Brighton, who would you pick? Well, Manic Man, I would be very tempted to take Evan Ferguson, but I like Matoma, I like Casido, so those three would probably be my top three there. If I could take a player from Chelsea, I really like Reece James. I don't know whether Ten Hag wants a right back, so I'd love a centre-back, but I've got to be honest, no Chelsea centre-back really, despite them spending hundreds of millions of pounds on them, there's not really a Chelsea centre-back that makes me go, I'd like them, which is, again, a bad sign. I'd like João Felix. I think he would work at Manchester United, but I think the one I would take is Enzo Fernandez. I think he would have been perfect for United. I really think Enzo Fernandez would have been a brilliant signing for United. I like Kovacic as well. Hi Mark, a bit off topic, pal, but when are you bringing back the Driving with Goldbridge series? Any plans for Mini Bridge to appear on the show, says Mario G. Well, hopefully I'll bring them back soon, it's just time. Soonest Deitch at the pub impression, says Yannick. With European football out of the question for Chelsea, how do they fall foul of financial fair play regulations next season? Or how do they not fall foul of it, says Pancakes. I don't know, mate. I don't know. I don't even understand financial fair play anymore. I don't even understand why Enzo Fernandez was given an 8-year contract in January and has just signed another. Is it a 9-year contract? I don't understand what's going on. Mark, as a United fan, Maguire says he has nothing to prove. These 2 months will rely on him more than ever for United's top 4 and trophy hopes. What are your thoughts, says James? Well, it's not thoughts. It's prayers. I think we're just praying now that this defence can somehow find some performance, because it's going to be very, very difficult without Varane and Martinez. Second half is coming up. What's this? Okay, that's fine. I was going to share it, but I don't need to. Bournemouth are playing very well, says Randy. We're only 200 subscribers away from 938,000. Please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner. You're all very welcome on That's Football. It's for everybody here. So subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, and get involved. Next watch-alongs, I think... well, there's always daily content on the channel anyway. I'll do a few match reactions this evening as well. Next watch-along is probably Chelsea-Madrid on Tuesday, because I won't be able to do Arsenal tomorrow because we've got the United game on That's Football. Don't forget, we're sponsored by OneFootball on the app. Links in the video description, or scan the QR code. OneFootball's the place to get all your latest breaking football news and transfer news. It's free to download. Fantastic little app. Got all your latest scores as well. Thing I really like about it is these stats here update on the team. On the OneFootball app, you can go and check the players. If you're a Chelsea fan, I wouldn't check any Chelsea players, because I think it would be terrible to have a look at how badly they're doing possession-wise. But I mean, the problem with Chelsea is, right, they can probably... I saw somebody in the first half saying Chelsea need... It is TalkSport this evening, yes, I'll be on at 7:30. I've seen a few people saying Chelsea need to go and sign Caicedo. It's not like you can. There are matches on May the 6th, says Rachel. Thank you very much. It's not like you can go and buy Caicedo, because you've already got shitloads of players. At some point, you've got to get on with what you've got. Surely. Clean sheet for... Wrexham today against Barnet. 0-0. Foster. If you're interested. Anyway, second half's up and running here. Chelsea against Brighton is our featured game, but all the games have kicked off. It's done it again. It's done that 50-minute thing. There's a little glitch here. I'm going to have to change the clock. Ignore that one. It did this last time. I don't know why it does it. I'll get a proper timer for you. It's like it just it carries on. Thank you very much. Really should reset itself. Not acceptable. Let me find a timer for you. How did the poker night go, says Billy. Bayern really might lose the league under Tuchel, says Arsenal all the way. Not doing very well, are they? Cooking with Goldbridge will be back. Driving with Goldbridge will be back. I just got to get the timing, really. Poker night was brilliant. It was a bit... I was disappointed, but I think everyone had a good night, and we'll definitely do it again. The problem I had is I thought I'd set the tech up, and then it wasn't working. So I had hands of poker going round while I was trying to sort all the tech out. So I kept having to fold, and obviously I lost a few. I lost a few of my coins doing that, and I found it difficult to recover. But next time I'll definitely win. Love you, Mark, says Animish. Love you too, pal. Thanks very much for your support. Right, I'm just going to get this timer going. What are we? We're going to be on 2 minutes by the time I get going here. 2 minutes and let's say I'll do. There we go. We're into the second half. Mark likes Chelsea on the lowdown, says James. I don't. I want Brighton to win. I said it before. I think everybody's Team Brighton, aren't they, after what happened last time? Bournemouth and Tottenham at Tottenham 1-1 at half-time. Mark doesn't only read the Super Chats, Jonathan. I mean, I have to read the Super Chats because that's how it works, because people are contributing and supporting the channel, but I actually read loads of none. London says you should watch the Spurs game instead. It's half-time, mate. We've got a Liverpool fan saying, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I want Chelsea to win. Why is that? Do Liverpool fans genuinely still hold out hope of getting top 4? Let's have a look. 29 games, 44 points. Well, I suppose if people are putting Aston Villa in a top 4 race, you've got to put Liverpool in a top race if they were to win those 2 games in hand. So I see what you're on about, yeah. I tell you what, you've got your chance is so outside. You're in my shed, and I ain't even got a shed. So you're in my garden, at the bottom of my garden. That's how far outside your chance is. I always predicted Liverpool would get top 4. So there's a couple of charity bets I've got that would be nice for my charities, but I think it's very difficult for Liverpool. But you've got to have a dream. You've got to hang on there. Of course you have. You've got to have a dream. I'll be stunned if Brighton don't win, though. If you watch the first half, they've been the dominant force in this game. And let's get the stats carousel going round. I've actually really enjoyed this stream today, by the way. The games have been pretty interesting to monitor. Thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. Hopefully we can hit the 938,000. Right, I'm just going to disappear for a minute. Well, I say disappear. It's really a tribute to Chelsea's top 4 hopes. But we're back. Bournemouth are the only club this season not to be awarded a penalty in the Premier League. There has never been a team that's gone a full season without one, says Les. The interesting thing is, have Bournemouth actually had penalties that should have been penalties? That's the thing. James says, to be fair, you ignore 50% of my super chats on United Stand, but they're only one of you, and you do a remarkable job multitasking. I don't ignore them. I might miss them. The United Stand's a very different beast to That's Football. Lovely cup of tea, that is, by the way. Lovely cup of tea. I'm rubbish at making tea. Do you reckon Arsenal beat West Ham tomorrow, says Konya? No, I think Arsenal will win. I'm going to have a stretch. We've got a goal coming in. It's Crystal Palace have scored at Southampton. This, for me, more or less puts Southampton down. I think they're going down anyway. Like a greedy person on cake, I think Southampton are going down. They're losing 1-0 to Crystal Palace here. And that's where it's going. What tea do you buy? I don't know. But you know what? I love a good cup of tea, and that's a cracking cup of tea. Mrs. Goldbridge knows how to make a good cup of tea. Is it a claim to fame that Kev has tweeted out a clip of my super chat about Dirty Deirdre? Almost like when my drawing was on CBBC in 1996. Luke, I think it's fantastic. I feel sorry for Kev that he's been outed as that Kev, because it's definitely not him. But I'm taking it on tour and I'm going to expand that story. Somebody said, who's the goal? Sometimes, some people say life isn't easy. But it is if your Crystal Palace is easy, because it's easy who scored. Probably pronounced it wrong, but it's 1-0. He scored again. He's having a great time under Roy Hodgson. We've got a Fulham goal coming in as well, apparently. We'll keep an eye on that. That would be tragic for Everton if that happened. I haven't had any notification through about that. So we will we'll hold back on that. Although it might have gone to VAR because... No, I think we have got a goal for Fulham. We have got a goal for Fulham. 2-1 to Fulham. Huge. You know what? Start to worry, Everton. Look at your running. There ain't many games that you would say you will definitely win. And home to Fulham has to be a win. Well, he used to be a member of the Beach Boys. It's not Brian Wilson. It's Harry Wilson. It's 2-1. And it's been given for Fulham as well. It's 2-1, and you're absolutely spot on. It's Harry Wilson. Good vibrations. How's this half going? Same as the first half, really. All Brighton. And I'm not talking about the Leicester player. They've had another great shot. Danny Welbeck's just blocked a shot as well. It's dominant from Brighton, and it's just a matter of time, I think, until they score. They're destroying Chelsea at the moment. Chelsea are so poor, says Sean. Yeah, lovely cup of tea. I'm rubbish at making tea. I don't really know the rules for making tea, but I'm very impatient. Like coffee, put the milk in, put the coffee in, put the hot water in, you're away. Tea, you've got to brew the tea bag. I only put it in for a minute, and then I'll just swirl it around and take it out. Mrs. Goldbridge will let it be in there for 3 minutes, and that does make a difference. So I'm just very impatient with my tea, so I'm not very good at making tea. Crazy what Unai Emery has done without a pre-season compared to Potter, says 12th Man Toon. He's done a great job. Great job. He could use a teapot, says Tom. But the reason I'm not very good at making tea is because when you're in the police, if you're a newbie, like you're young, you're always on tea duty. So if the shift starts at 3 o'clock, you have to make the whole shift a cup of tea. Oh, I hated doing it. So my trick was just to be rubbish at making tea, because then people would drink it and go, oh, that's horrible. And then they'd make their own. And then they'd just say, don't let him make the tea, and then you ain't got to do it. What's the funniest football name you can think of? Mine is Robin Cock, says Animish. If you don't want to do something, just be bad at it. Life hacks, Shake. That's it. I'll tell you what, if Brighton don't win this game, it's an absolute travesty. I am on TalkSport tonight, me. Yes, 7:30 tonight, live on TalkSport. Tune in on national radio in the UK, or you can watch it on YouTube. People always say, why is there so many breaks on the YouTube? It's because YouTube, TalkSport, has ads on it, but they're not going to play the ads on YouTube, so it just breaks off a little bit. Looking forward to it tonight. It's not 1-1 between Southampton and Palace. So the Premier League roundup at the moment is as follows. It's 1-1 between Chelsea and Brighton. It's 1-2 between Everton and Fulham. It's 0-1 between Southampton and Crystal Palace. It's 1-1 and half time between Tottenham and Bournemouth. And it's 1-0 to Wolves against Brentford. Chelsea making some subs here. Ziyech coming on for Pulisic, who's surely finished at Chelsea. Brighton, they're also bringing on Kovacic and Reece James. Brighton scare me. That semi will be tough, says Sean. I think that it wouldn't surprise... Enzo Fernandez is coming off. This wouldn't surprise me if Chelsea won it, you know. Because for all their domination... And look, that is domination. They've absolutely dominated them, Brighton. It's 1-1. So, you know, we might see... I mean, he's making 4 subs here, Lampard. So it can only get better. Lampard's thinking about Real Madrid. he's making subs here about Real Madrid. Like, João Felix has come on. Reece James has come on. He's just making changes. He's just thinking about that. Paul says, I bet Lampard's being paid a fortune. Yeah. Who's your captain this week? Says Reece. I don't do fantasy football. I haven't done it for ages. Well, somebody said first off, it'd be nice to see Matoma against Reece James. You're going to see it for about half an hour. Love your content, Mark. You think we'll get top 4 without without Martinez? Says Addy. Yeah, I do. I mean, look, if Spurs don't beat Bournemouth, that'd be great. But we're not the only ones. Newcastle fans won't want Spurs to beat Bournemouth. Liverpool won't. Brighton won't. Newcastle won't. Liverpool won't. Man United don't, you know. Mark, I want to be a detective. Any advice? Says Jed. I think you have to join the police, mate. It's probably your only way in. Still Brighton on top. Kean says, have you been scouting Evan Ferguson? He went off injured, mate. Hi, Mark. Is there more money in getting top 4 or winning the Europa League? Says BD. Oh, more money in getting top 4 in the Premier League. Yeah, I don't think you get loads for winning the Europa League. I don't think Forest tomorrow. I did the preview on the United stand if you didn't watch it. Nottingham Forest's home form is really good. They're like mid-table for home form. They're a mid-table team based on their home form. They're a championship side based on their away form. So I think it could be a difficult game tomorrow. They don't concede that many either. So I'm going to go. I think it'll be tight. I'd love United to win it 4 or 5-0, but I'm actually predicting a draw in that game. I think United. I'm not going to go too optimistic, and then it can be a bit of a surprise, can't it? Oh, they've just hit the post and then put it over the bar. I can't believe Brighton haven't won this game. They've just hit the post and then he's put it over the bar. Welbeck. This is the story of Brighton. Like, they're so good, but sometimes they just get locked into this bad luck zone. They should have won this game 3 or 4-0. Like, they've been absolutely dominant. And I guarantee you Chelsea will go and win this 2-1 on the break. It's been domination from Brighton. What can you do? It was a terrible miss by Welbeck. What do you think of James Maddison? I think he needs a move, mate. Tottenham and Bournemouth have kicked off their second half. Obviously delayed because of traffic. What haircuts have you had in your life? Says Will. I've had quite a few haircuts in my life. I've stuck with this one for a long time. I normally do change it, but I've had quite a few. I used to have one a little bit like Simon off the In-Betweeners, you know, where it's short back and sides and then you sort of get the gel and put it between and pull it out like that. So you've got a bit like that. When I lived in Dublin, I used to have a longer side parting than this where the hair would come down and then it'd be a bit layered here. And then it was like bleach blonde. But it wasn't bleach blonde actually, it was blonde highlights. I had curtains when I was at school, which is the middle parting, long hair down there. Everybody had that when I was at school. I had spiky hair in the 80s, used to spiky. I don't know how nobody has spiky hair now, but you used to go to the hairdressers and you'd actually come out with virtually fade on the side and then spiky hair. It was actually spiky hair. No one does it anymore. Like, it was literally spiky. Someone needs to bring that back. It ain't going to be me. Andreas says, since I started in 2008, you've helped me shape a stronger identity as a more real and honest person. You've helped me in life. Thank you, Andreas, and well done. Lovely to hear that. Tom G says, you've got to say what a great job Tony Bloom has done at Brighton. They're challenging for Europe, and Union Saint-Gilles winning the Belgian Pro League in the first year after promotion and in Europe. Look, Brighton are the blueprints, and a lot of clubs are copying it now. It's how quickly they can copy it, because Brighton will continue to flourish whilst they're the club that can do it. Who's going to win the Champions League? If I'm being honest, I think the favourite to win the Champions League at the moment on form is Man City. Brighton to win 2-1, says Mr. Barney. They should be winning 5-1. I just think this has got that one of those games vibes where actually Chelsea will find a way of nicking it. Bayern have just drawn at home. Di bought some Sneak. I hope you use the code Geekbridge, Sneakbridge. Thank you very much. I feel nervous for Brighton, and I, to be honest, from a Man United point of view, I probably don't want them to win. But I almost feel sorry for them. They've been so in control. Hello, Man U4L. I hear young God. You're right. Does Grealish? Does Seb still have the Grealish hairstyle? No, he's gone through that phase now. Grand National Watchalong. I have done it before. It's not looking good for Southampton, everybody. They are at home. They are adrift at the bottom of the league, and they are now 2-0 down to Roy Hodgson's Crystal Palace, who are now playing like the London Man City. Ezzy gave them the lead. I can tell you that it's 2-0 now to Crystal Palace. And Ezzy's done it again. 2-0. Southampton are heading to the Championship. We've had an amazing relegation battle, but I think it's looking like it's looking like we're finally getting to a point where we're going to see a team relegated. Sanchez for Brighton's just made a couple of good saves there. That's what I mean. I can see Chelsea getting a smash and grab here. I don't think they deserve it, but I can see it. I don't know what more Brighton can do. It's been a dominating performance from them this afternoon. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. We're only 100 away from 937,000 on the road to 1 million. Get involved with the channel. Everybody's welcome on That's Football. We will be doing the Champions League watch-alongs again. I absolutely loved them this week. And we've got the second legs coming up for you. I can't see Bayern Munich in Munich doing anything against Manchester City 3-0 down. On today's performance, I can't see Chelsea doing anything against Real Madrid either, but they can't play much worse than they have done in this game. Bournemouth are beating Spurs. Get in, get in, get in, get in. It's 2-1 to Bournemouth. I'm getting in. This would be a great day for Manchester United if Bournemouth could beat Spurs. They're leading 2-1. Son had given them the lead. Vina made it 1-1. And Spurs fans, grab a hanky. It's Solanke. 2-1. 2-1 to Bournemouth. And it's Solanke who's done it. And it's a good day for Newcastle as well. They were 1-0 up. It's 2-1 to Bournemouth. Big goal. I mean, I'd be happy if it was a point. Are you a fan of pundits, says Cameron? Vast majority, no. It's 2-0 to Wolves as well. Solanke's made it 2-1 to Bournemouth. There's a long way to go in the Spurs game. That can be turned around. If you remember your Premier League facts well, though, Bournemouth were 2-0 up against Spurs at Bournemouth and lost 3-2. So they've been in this position before and bottled it against Spurs. It's Hwang Hee-chan. I'm not going to rhyme that with anything because it could sound a little bit wrong. But it's Hwang Hee-chan who's made it 2-0 to Wolves. That is more or less making Wolves safe in the Premier League relegation battle as it stands. That would put Wolves very, very clear of the relegation battle. 7 points clear, in fact. So looking very good for Wolves. It's looking very, 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 very bad for Everton at the moment. They haven't got an easy run in. And they're losing at home to Fulham. I tell you what, Goldbridge, it's not just looking bad. It's looking very sad. I don't know what to do. I'm always in the dark. I'm living in a powder keg, so give it up sharp. I really need you tonight. Forever's gonna start tonight. Forever's gonna start tonight. Oh, it's 2-1. There was a lot going on in the chat. And I can confirm it's 2-1 to Brighton. Look, I ain't got a massive problem with Chelsea, but this is justice on toast. It's justice jam on toast because Brighton have absolutely dominated Chelsea. If football is your thing, then this is justice because Brighton have absolutely annihilated Chelsea at the Bridge. They've dominated them from start to finish and they've just scored an absolute cracking goals. One of the best goals ever, says Mako. That is incredible from Brighton. They deserve to be leading. What a strike. What a strike for Brighton. And 2-1. Chelsea have been terrible. They've been absolutely terrible. There is no two ways about it. It's 3-1 for Fulham as well at Goodison Park. What's happening, Daichi? Your singing's made it 3. But it's an absolute worldie for Brighton. Absolute worldie. He's absolutely pelted that. Enciso, I can't pronounce his name. Enciso. He came on as a sub for Veltman. He's just smacked it. Oh, he's apt. You know what? I think Kepa ain't that good from shots from distance, but no one's stopping that. Absolute banger. Absolute banger. And Brighton lead 2-1 at Chelsea. Thoroughly deserved. I'll let you know the Fulham game. It's 3-1. It's 3-1 at Goodison Park to Fulham. People might forget the names of who scored, but it's Dan James who's made it 3-1. Dan James masterclass. Meep. Please, could you do a Lampard impression, says Reed. I can't do a Lampard impression. You know, I absolutely can't. I'll tell you what, if Chelsea lose this, I'm definitely recording a match reaction straight away after, because I'm going to double down on the fact that Chelsea was stupid to give Lampard a job. Absolutely stupid. Mudrish has gone down. How many shots have Brighton had? 22 shots or something like that. 22 shots. 8 on target. Chelsea have had 1. That is disgusting here. Ridiculous appointment. Absolutely ridiculous appointment. And you know what? I know there's no victimisation here for Chelsea fans. You've got Chelsea pundits, people calling up, people on social media, Chelsea vloggers, Chelsea YouTubers. Oh, get rid of Potter. Get rid of Potter. Lampard's the best thing ever. You're heading to your 3rd loss in a row under the feel good factor. You know, some people some people wake up in the morning and they like a nice hot shower to make them feel good. Lampard's appointment to Chelsea fans is like getting up, and it's not a shower, it's a big elephant pissing on your head. If that's the feel good factor, enjoy it. Because that ain't a hot shower. That's piss. Piss poor. Rubbish. Absolutely crap. I don't get it. I don't get what people thought Lampard was going to do. It was a fantasy. It was a fairy tale. You know what Lampard's the equivalent of? You know, as your mate ever said this to you down the pub? Oh, can you remember Donna from secondary school? Oh yeah, everyone remembers Donna. She was a bit of a looker, wasn't she? Yeah, about 30 years ago. Yeah, you'll never guess what. She's only contacted me on Facebook. She wants to meet up. Yeah, don't do it. Definitely don't do it. Has she sent a recent picture? No, all the pictures of when she was in her late teens and that. There's a reason for that. She's in her late 30s now. Don't do it. Chelsea have gone and made the Facebook mistake. They've gone back to something that can never be relived. Idiots. Absolute idiots. But Chelsea fans don't want to listen. They wanted to go, oh, Todd Boehly is doing his best. He is doing his best. He's just rubbish at it. Chris says, I'm not looking forward to Man United playing Brighton. No, Brighton are fantastic. They're a fantastic side. There's no two ways about it. However bad Chelsea are, they've still got really good players. It's still Stamford Bridge. But Chelsea fans should be giving the manager stick. You know, Potter got enough. They didn't want to be... I love Lampard, but I did not want him back. As for every one of these players, they have down tools. I'd rather have 11 fans on the pitch, says Jack. Well, that's the problem you've got as well. I think that's absolutely spot on, Jack. You know, the squad that's been assembled by Chelsea is a disgrace. You cannot have that many players because they'll never be happy. You don't need that many players. You know, you're better off with what Brighton have got. A tight squad of players that know what they're doing. Chelsea might get relegated to slow. I've heard that before, and it's a total nonsense. Chelsea could lose every single game from now, and they still won't get relegated with 39 points. 39 points will keep you up. No way are Everton, Southampton getting to 39 points. I don't think Leicester will either. So. Well, check my tweet on Lampard. Check it out. I'm sure we'll get a lot of Chelsea fans calling in on TalkSport tonight. I'm live on TalkSport YouTube channel from 7:30 till 9 o'clock and on the radio if you want to call in. But I tell you what, I won't be holding back. If any Chelsea fan wants to call in for, and tell me that it's not been a bloody circus. Is Mudryk the most overhyped signing in recent history, says the HPN? Well, in fairness to Mudryk, it's very hard to be... If he was playing for Brighton, he'd be on the ball a lot more. It's very hard as an attacker. It's the same as Liverpool. It's very hard to be an impactive attacker when you've got no bloody possession. They've had like 30% possession at home and one shot. I don't know how anybody thinks it's a good idea to give somebody a job who's basically relegated Everton in the same season. Ashley Cole is his assistant as well, yeah. I mean, I don't know anything about Ashley Cole as a coach, so I can't really say anything about that. But yeah, the longer Bournemouth lead against Spurs, the better. But I have a feeling that they might still come back. I've got to say as well, for Everton, this is absolutely terrible. They've got a really hard run in. They've got to be winning at home, and they're losing at home 3-1 to Fulham. Opinion on the F1 season so far and how it would play out, says Barry. Boring. Boring. Red Bull are too fast. It seems like it's a long time since we've had a Formula 1 race as well. It's weeks. When was the last one? Ahmad scored for Sunderland again. What a player, says Archie. I played the game, says Ryan. It wasn't last week there was an F1 one. Oh my God. I bet Mason Mount just got booed. He's just blasted it over the bar from the edge of the box. Why is he even on the pitch? Why would you bring Mason Mount on? He'll probably score now, but he's rubbish. It's a 3-week bait for F1. Up, down, pump me up. So up, down, pump me up. Mason Mount can't be Lampard's son because he's Southgate's son as well. That's, A Chelsea equaliser would be completely unjust, but 2-1 is a dangerous scoreline because it's sort of going to invite the pressure from Chelsea now, isn't it? They've got to go for it. We're only 70 subscribers away from 938,000, by the way, so please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner, you're very welcome. Get involved on That's Football. I will be doing a match reaction if Chelsea lose because I think it's just worth it. It's 2023, Mark. You can have two dads, says Zata. Well, Brighton have sort of gone into defensive mode now, so that probably helps Chelsea because they couldn't get up the pitch at all when Brighton were trying to get the winner. So Brighton just seem to be sitting back a bit now, so maybe that'll play into Chelsea's hands. I mean, they actually played some really good football there. Really good link-up play between, I think, João Felix and Conor Gallagher. He just didn't read it. Actually, it was Mason Mount. You ever watched Narcos, Mark? I bloody loved it. Loved it. One of the best things. Yeah. Absolutely loved it. I think United against Brighton next week in the FA Cup will be a very good game. Brighton, I don't think there's a game where if Brighton were playing, I'd go, they're going to struggle. I think Brighton would give anybody a game at the moment. They're a very good side. I think Arsenal have got to play them. I mean, that's a tough game. Pedro Pascal was in Narcos, wasn't he? Congratulations to my sister. Had a little boy, weighs 6.3 pounds, says ZA. Congratulations. Great news there. Thanks for sharing it with us. I love Only Fools and Horses, Daniel. Leeds have got a terrible run-in, says Jacob. I'm just looking at the relegation battle as it stands, and I mean, Bournemouth, I think, are going to stay up. If they beat Spurs, I think they're going to stay up because they've got 33 points as it stands. So that would put them 6 points ahead of relegation. So Bournemouth, shockingly, because I'd relegated them, looked like they fair play to them. It looked like they might stay up. Really, who goes down? It's going to be about who can get the points. Really, I mean, I know that sounds really obvious, but I look at the run-ins of Everton and Leeds, and I think it looks really hard. So does that give a little bit of a chance to Forest, or maybe even Leicester? Imagine Victor Osimhen in the Chelsea side, says David. Well, in this Chelsea side, he'd be rubbish. Have you seen Black Mass? Depp was exceptional in that one, says Basti. I don't know whether I have watched that. I haven't watched True Detective. Oh, no, I have watched that, Jims. I have watched that. I remember that now. Yeah. I mean, I think Victor Osimhen in Potter's Chelsea side would have been very good because they created a lot of chances. But I think Victor Osimhen in this side he'd struggle today because they've created bloody nothing. Ronnie Pickering. Yeah, look, if you're not up to date with Chelsea stats today, I don't think Victor Osimhen's going to love that. 2 shots on target. Look at Brighton, 9 shots on target from 24. And yeah, Brighton are the away team. Mark, an idea, but would be great for you to play FIFA against your fans. Not sure if you ever thought about it, says Vishal. I can't be bothered. With all that sort of organisation. Winds me up because you've got to get it all set up with "Can you hear me?" and all the tech. I'm rubbish at all that. If I had somebody to do it for me, I would do it. It's like I love pro clubs, but I can't be asked to set it up. Have you watched a game called Chat, Mark? Says Mario Franco. No. What's your favourite type of cheese? Says Harry. I'm not massive on cheese. I like cheese on a lasagna when you've melted it. I'm not the sort of person who goes in the fridge and goes, "Oh, I love a bit of cheese." I go in the fridge and say, "I'll have a bottle of bud or some coleslaw or something like that." But yeah, cheese is not high on my list unless it's hot on something. And I mean a meal. I don't want hot cheese off my wife or anything like that. I don't know whether it's true. City's just said that Harry Kane is off for Spurs. Red card for Harry Kane, apparently. I don't know whether we can get any confirmation on that. Harry Bain, I've got been sent off. Well, some would say it's about time. I don't know whether it's true. Not true. Not true. Okay. It's not true. Okay. But it is still 2-1 between Tottenham and Bournemouth. Which is fantastic for Bournemouth, let's be honest. Something with Ultra says, please let Bournemouth and Brighton win. It would be so funny. Well, it wouldn't just be funny. It would be totally deserved. I think it would be criminal. I think Brighton would have to file a report with the Metropolitan Police for theft if they ended up drawing this game with Chelsea, because there has never been a game that I've watched for a long time that a team doesn't deserve to win more away from home. I think Brighton have been perfect today. The only thing that could, I mean, and let's be fair as well, Chelsea's goal was jammy. You know, it was an own goal, really. I know it's been given to Conor Gallagher, but it was never going to go in. It was going to get saved easily. So, you know, if Chelsea did manage to get a point here, it would be disgusting, really. But if they don't get a point here, it's 3 losses in his first 3 games back for Lampard. All the bounce of a bowling ball. Although Reece James has just put a fantastic cross into the box. But this is what tends to happen. You know, you're absolutely terrible. It's 2-1. And then Brighton sit in for the win and invite the pressure. It's the flow of football. Clyde's just realised that Newcastle lost. Yeah, I think that's a great result for Villa. I don't think it's a surprise, but it's a fantastic result because Newcastle have been playing really well lately. Roy Hodgson's had a very big bounce, says Troy. He says he's had the bounce of a tennis ball. He's had the bounce of a tennis ball full of helium. It's a very big bounce. Am I doing Man City versus Leicester? I don't do Man City watch-alongs unless I really have to. I'll do it in the Champions League because they're playing decent opposition. I couldn't think of anything worse than watching Manchester City play Leicester. I mean, that will be Haaland hat-trick. I'll be very surprised if it's not. Yeah, that game is just absolutely. I will finish this. I'll do a match reaction if Chelsea lose. I'll basically slate Lampard and Todd Boehly, and then probably just go and, you know, wash the car. Because, Man City smashing Leicester does not satisfy me at all. Although there could be some new manager bounce, I very much doubt it. I think Leicester are crap. Hassan, I'd like to read it out, but you're absolutely right. Omar says it's snowing where he is. Wow. Yeah, don't forget to join me tonight, though. I will be live on YouTube at 7:30, the Talk Sport YouTube channel, and live on the radio. If you want to call in, get your calls in. Very interested to see what you've got to say. I'm hoping that Brighton get the result they deserve here, although a draw would be quite good for Man United, to be fair. But the one I'm more interested in is Bournemouth against Spurs and whether they can hold on. 15 minutes to go. I don't even mind if it's a draw between Bournemouth and Spurs, but a win for Bournemouth would be absolutely fantastic. Absolutely incredible. 6 minutes added on between Chelsea and Brighton. Do you want Harry Kane at Man United? Says Et. No. I think we will buy him, and I think he is world class, but it wouldn't be my choice. It's not. It's not. It's not that I don't think he's a good player. I'd just rather have somebody else. I'm worried about Harry Kane. I think there's a few red flags around his age, how much he'd cost, how Spurs wouldn't do a deal with us until the end of August. I think he is a bit injury prone, and he's not really had any injuries for a while. He's never won anything. So, yeah, but you know he is world class in my opinion. Come on, Bournemouth. Come on, Bournemouth, says Michelle. Jesus loves you, says Daniel. Is Matoma too raw for a Man United move, says Ronan? No. I think Matoma... as I said in the first half, I think Pep Guardiola would love Matoma. When will Jordan and White return to TalkSport? This week was absolutely boring. Your show will be the highlight of the week, says Yannick. I think they're back next week. They still call it the Jordan and White show. I turned it on yesterday, and it was Keown, Crook, and Matterface. And I found Keown really interesting, which shows you how much we miss White and Jordan. But they've got to have some time off. Slow Sports news from Dylan. Brighton. Listen to this one, Simon. Brighton have some good players, says Dylan. Slow Sports news. Get my Audi. Crystal Palace have beaten Southampton 2-0. There's no way back for Southampton. Wolves have beaten Brentford 2-0 as well. Do I think Villa will get top four, says Alec? I think it's too little too late, really. Or, well, not too little. I don't want to use a negative term. I think it's an amazing run. Too late. I think if they get 70 points, they'll get top four. But I think to get 70 points, they've got to win 6 of their last 7. And they have got some tough ones. They've got Mudrik's shot from distance well over the bar. They've got United. I think they've got Spurs. I think they've got Liverpool. So they've got some tough games. Spurs haven't equalised, by the way. Some people are just trolling in the chat. What they don't realise is I've got notifications on for goals, so they can't be getting it any quicker than anybody else. I think Villa could get top 4, but I think a lot's got to go their way. Because the run they're on is incredible. And do you really think they're going to win 6 of their next 7 when they've just won 6 of their last 7? It's hard to replicate that in a very competitive league. But I think they deserve to get European football. Everton game is still going on, but it's over. 3-1 to Fulham. You know what? Everyone thought that the Deitch factor would be enough, but it might not be enough for Everton. They might have left it too late. There was 2 games at home for Everton in January where they kept Lampard and he lost them both. And that was the time before that where they should have sacked him. If Everton go down, I think they lost 6 points at home that they could have got. I can't remember what the games were. I think they lost to Southampton and Wolves or something like that. This is looking like a nice match reaction for me to do. We're only 40 subscribers away from 938,000. If you haven't subscribed, please click the bottom right-hand corner. It would be great to hit it before we go off air. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I am going to do a match reaction based on this game as well. Just because I think Chelsea are an absolute joke. And I think I've been proven right. They shouldn't have sacked Potter until the end of the season. Because it couldn't have been any bloody worse. I'm fed up with Chelsea fans saying it was right to sack Potter. He may not have been the right guy. But ultimately, you are really shit now. At least under Potter, you had loads of possession and chances, but you couldn't score. Now, you don't even have the possession. And you've got to, you know what, you've got to look at it from Brighton's point of view as well. Can I just say this? Brighton should have beat Spurs last week as well. So Brighton would actually have 52 points if they hadn't been robbed. And they'd have 2 games in hand. So, you talk about Villa for top 4. What about Brighton for top 4? They would have beat Spurs last week away. They're beating Chelsea away. And, you know, I think they've been robbed of top four, really, Brighton. I really do. And it's over. It's over. It's over. Brighton have beaten Chelsea 2-1 in the most deserving performances. An absolutely incredible, dominating performance from Brighton against Chelsea. They've thoroughly deserved it. There's still 7 minutes to go in Tottenham versus Brighton. I'm not going to jinx it by staying on air. I'm going to do my match reaction for Chelsea. But don't forget, I'm on TalkSport at 7:30 tonight till 9 o'clock. Get your calls in. Get involved in on YouTube. We'll be reading the chat as well. I think it's going to be a very interesting show because there's been some shocking results today. And it's been a great day. Pleasure. Thanks for sharing it with me. I'll put up a match reaction on this as well in a minute. Speak to you all in a bit. Call it Chelsea Crisis, says Sello. Good idea. Speak to you.